Awareness of what is really going on in life. Awareness of all the greatest truths. In life, we look at things from our angle. It is day, it is evening. We are so convinced it's evening that we don't see anywhere else. We're not aware that other things are going on in other places. Many of our problems start because lack of awareness. Lack of awareness, lack of understanding, lack of knowledge. When we go through a hard time in our lives, where do we fail? We think that we are being punished. We think that it's only happening to us. Lack of awareness. Look to the real world. What is happening? Awareness is, you know what? It's normal. Nowadays, there are little problems and everybody wants to run away. The grass is greener. Wrong. Untruth. Look somewhere else. It may stop you from complaining when you have that awareness. Master Shiva Nanda used to say, arise, awake. Arise, awake, be awake, be aware, look around you. Why are you wasting your time in grieving and sorrow? Oh, this has happened to me, and that one has left me, and this one has left me. Why are you wasting your time? It's going to happen to all of you anyway. And you know what? You're going to leave you too. Did you know that? That's awareness. So allow other people to leave you first, and then you know you're going to leave yourself behind. So you better find out who you are before you leave yourself. Awareness, being awake to the truth. Now, when you're constantly aware, and you're constantly in that truth, then sorrow becomes a little far away. Sorrow becomes a little far away because the real truth is everybody is going to go through what you go through. One way or the other, differently, but they're going to go through it. Awareness is this total understanding that nobody is picking on you. And if things happen to you, wow, thank the gods, there's something you need to sort out in yourself that you're not sorting out. And if you don't listen, your skin will get in trouble. Something will get in trouble. You'll burst in some kind of emotion or something. Yes, sometimes it's karmic. Other times, you know it is you, your stress. You know when it is karmic. You know when it's your stress. You know this has caused this. You know deep inside something is disturbing you. Awaken yourself to that. Be aware. When you do your Hatha Yoga practices, how many of you do Hatha Yoga in this room, may I ask? Okay, not many. It's a very good way. If you don't, I advise, we have wonderful teachers here in the center. It's a very good way to learn awareness of your body, what it's doing, your emotions. Because Hatha Yoga, the word Hatha actually means sun and moon. When you do the breathing, you're aware of which nostril you're breathing in through, which nostril you're breathing out. When you move your body and you finish a posture and you think, this is pretty easy, the cobra can do it, and then you lie down, or the lotus pose, you lie down and suddenly you hear, wow, it's a little difficult, my heart is beating. You become aware of your weaknesses. So, Hatha Yoga is very good because it makes you very aware of your body. Sometimes it's very difficult to be aware of your soul until you become aware of your body. So sometimes many people come to yoga through the path of Hatha Yoga. Why? Because it's physical. They think they're going to do a few exercises and it's going to be, they're going to get really skinny and then they realize that Hatha Yoga is much more than that. Much, much more than that. Really, real Hatha Yoga is learning to understand that this body is a temple and the soul resides in it. The soul resides in it. But if you are not consciously aware that your body is a temple, you keep forgetting that your soul resides in it. So, when you practice Hatha Yoga twice a week, even once a week, or any kind of movement, Tai Chi, slow movement, you start to be aware this body belongs to me. So who is me that lives in this body? Who am I? And of course, bless you. And when I'm going to deviate, as I usually do. When we were in India and we met this, what you call a siddha. A siddha yogi is, one who can do lots of things like, physical things, like you're walking on a street and you're following him, suddenly he's there, next thing you look he's not there, and then he's behind you and you wonder how he did that so quickly. That's a siddha yogi. There are many in India, you can find them, some of them even walk on water, but that's not the point of yoga practices. That is not the point. In fact, it sometimes takes you away from the real practice, which is finding your peace within, because that's the biggest miracle of all. And the hardest battle of all. But anyway, we had a siddha yogi in India, and he loved our group, so he wanted to talk to us, Of course, we were a group of very excited people who just wanted to find out the truth and know God and see God. We were right, and seeing all these things made us very excited, just to know that all this exists. But he gave us a talk, and he told us at the talk, when somebody sneezed, that every time you sneeze, God is agreeing. So, when she sneezed, I thought, I guess there's a lot of awareness to be had in this room, right? So a lot of us need to awaken to really, that's the real world. That's why we say the mantra at the end, Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya. And it means, and you listen to the meaning, lead us from unreal to real. Lead us from darkness to the light. Lead us from the fear of death to the knowledge of immortality. We are immortal. We keep forgetting this awareness, awaken awareness. No. If you're constantly aware of who you are, then you can deal with the battles that come to you in your life. In the Bhagavad Gita, when there's this war and this warrior doesn't want to go into war, and this representation of God is telling him, the battle's in your own mind. Karma comes to all of us. Sometimes we have to do battles. What can we do? How do you go into battle? And he tells him the first thing you need to know before you go into battle is who you really are. And you know who you really are? He said, first of all, you were a baby, and then you become a young person, and then you become an adult. So in one life, then you become old again, and you become like a baby right again. In one life, how many different bodies? If you look at your size, your shape, right? It changes like metamorphosis from one stage to the other stage. Then he says, just as you would cast out a worn out garment and throw it away and buy a new one. So when the time is up, you will cast off this body and you get a new one. Say, you know who you are? Weapons cannot cut it. That means cannot cut the soul. Fire cannot burn it. Wind cannot blow it. Water cannot wet it. That's who you are. Do you know that? Are you aware of that? When little things start to bother you and all these things start to come in your mind, ask yourself, who am I? Many times I remember in the olden days when I first started to practice yoga, and sometimes I would get so angry, at my partner, my husband, because you always pick on the one you love most. Isn't it true? You see, I was aware of that, and really why was he there for me? To make me strong, to teach me, to challenge me. It's very easy to be good when everything is going right. Isn't it? Everybody in this world can do that. Correct?
Yeah.
It's hard to do it when things are going wrong. So, and I couldn't get through, I couldn't pass the stage of accepting it and forgiving it and knowing where he was coming from. So one of my first practices was, lead us from unreal to real. This is temporary, this too shall pass. It was, if he got angry and he died tomorrow, will I still be angry with him? I wouldn't. I knew hand to my heart, I couldn't. If I knew he was going to die tomorrow, would I still be angry with him? No, what we are arguing about is so minute, so unimportant, so ridiculous in the scheme of the earth going on its axis day and night, so ridiculous, so personalized. And when I thought like that with that awareness, because that awareness is the truth, what I was going through was untruth. I was going through poor me syndrome. I deserve this and I deserve that. And yes, of course, on a human level, we have to attend to that too. But the advice is, now that you're not so personal anymore because you're more aware of who you are, you take a stand from a very strong place of love, not of anger. And that's when you turn things around. You respond with strength and love. No, I love you, I will not take this, but I love you. And you walk away. No, how dare you say this to me? Who do you think you are? Oh my God, poor me. All this excitement, right? You come from that. And of course, what you're going to get is a war, you're going to get retaliation. Nobody can change like that. But if you come from a place of strength and love, that's where you learn, that's where you grow. It took me a long time to learn this, so I'm hoping that you will take the shortcut and learn from my experience. Many years, many years, you know, I tell my daughter that, you know, because every time they're, you know, every relationship you're going to have problems. Tell me yes or no, good or bad. Some are worse, and that's when you know you have to do something drastic, but some are not so bad, you know. And you don't have to do something so drastic. And sometimes when my daughter comes and listen, and then I'll say, take her husband's side. Mom, teaches that to ease your pat. And you know, and I said, yeah, he is. Because you know what? If I listen to what you say and take what you say personally, tomorrow you will forgive him. And guess what? I'll be angry. But my words of anger will stick in your mind, and you will judge him and say, Mom said this, and she's absolutely right. No, thank you. If I have anything to say to him, I will take him out for a coffee or a drink or a tea, and I will tell him directly to his face. But I will not encourage it. See, of course it's normal. You're going to argue. You're going to fight. It's normal. These things happen. There's nothing too drastic. 5 minutes later, she's already forgotten. Call, are you okay? Oh yeah, forgot about it. You see, when you make things very normal, you don't, and that's the truth, when you're aware, you know, and you don't add your own personality into it, then you become, it's no longer neutral. And when you're no longer neutral, you're no longer living in the truth anymore. You're living from a biased point of view. And of course, as a mother, the temptation, or as a good friend, is to say, you shouldn't do that. Rubbish. You should get away with nobody else. And of course, you're coming from a very kind place. But maybe the kind place isn't the right action for that person. We don't know. Only that person can know. The fact that the second day they fall in love again means, okay, it's not yet that time. They're meant to be together. So what have you put your foot in? It's none of your business anyway, you know? It's none of your business. Don't interfere. Let them work it out. It's their karma. And this is the awareness. You know, when Gurudev told me, you can help no one, help yourself. I cried for 5 hours. And what am I doing in the world if I can't help anyone, you know? But it was a great lesson to me. It was a great lesson to me. While I was thinking I could help people, I was helping people. It was ego both ways. When I changed the word helping to sharing, very different. The responsibility was not mine anymore. And when you allow people to make the mistakes, they will suffer so much. Hard to watch, isn't it? Hard to watch people. But you have to bear that suffering, watching people make their mistakes, because you have to have that awareness and faith to know that they will come out of it. Can't do it for them. You can love them. You can hold their hand. You can tell them you care. That's magical. But you can't tell anyone. How you can help yourself is to know that everybody is loved. Every single soul. And only when they themselves really want to be healed from a place of love will they be healed. Because blessed are the pure. They shall see God. And what is purity but peace? What is purity but the neutrality you feel in your heart? As the Buddha would say, don't grasp to blaming, or, sometimes, yes, you have to attend to what is wrong. But you attend to what is wrong. That kind of way. No, this is wrong. Why is this wrong? Can you explain this to me? You see, you don't blame that is wrong. You attend is a very different energy. And it is that energy that will shift people, that will make them want to change. That love, if you can awaken love in your heart, and that's another awareness, you can heal a lot of people. And then you're not helping them. You are loving them despite their faults, despite their pain, despite all those things. You still love them. And when you offer anybody unconditional love, eventually they have to melt. They have to. Because they will have to recognize that in themselves. That's the stuff we are made of. All of us. When you can't love, when you're angry, how do you feel? So simple, isn't it? It's such simple psychology. When you close your heart and say, well, I don't need it anymore. I've had enough. And you stop that flow, you can't shift. You can't move on. You can't grow. You have to let yourself grow against it. Yes, the pain is there, but as Shakespeare says, better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. With your friends, with your family, with everyone. Anytime there's a separation, there is pain. Notice it. You separate. Oh, I know what talks about. It's separation. My mother, my brother, my sister, there's a separation. Okay, we can't speak. For some reason we can't get along. Let me send them love and light in my brain so that I don't have to keep that anger in my heart. Because if I have that anger in that heart, I can't be pure. I can't have peace. And I can't see God. So you see, it's a very selfish thing to do, to forgive. It's a very selfish thing to do, to love fully and completely, and knowing at every turn you are going to be hurt and people are going to use you. Was I not saying that to you yesterday? Don't worry about the world. They will always use you. And they'll step on you. Hasn't it happened to me for 20 years since I started this work? I've never had more insults in between or more people judging me than when I started doing this. While I was quietly in my shop, not many people bothered with me. Now it's all the gossip. Whenever I do anything, just I laugh. I find it so funny. And these are people who are supposed to love me. And we just don't get attached to that because you do it for God and you think they do this because they love you and teaches you to love beyond words, because deep inside of them, there is a diamond. What can you do? Human nature is curious. What can you do? Human nature loves gossip. What can you do but love it all? It's the play, it's the movie, it's what happens. And then you find your peace gets taken and you get drawn into that. So you always have to step back one. Step back one. Be careful you don't get drawn in. That's the awareness. When you see yourself as drawn into this world of mucky stuff. I call it mucky stuff. I really don't want mucky stuff. When you feel yourself drawn, withdraw. Got it? Walk in. Go in. Take your senses inwards and ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? I am the divine. divine self? Aren't we all? They're just going through their learning period. I've done this over and over and over and over again. I don't need to do it. I can watch. At least I don't need to get involved. If I need to, I will, but I really don't need to get involved in this. This is people's mind stuff, And then you withdraw, and then sometimes being human is very difficult. And if you haven't practiced for a long time, without a break, and with all your heart, you will be drawn. So the awareness is to, you will be. I'm sorry. Can I tell you that's the truth? You may think you know it all. You may think, I love God so much. Big deal. You think God needs your love. You already loved even before you even say the word that God loves. You already loved. You would be here otherwise. Why would you be created if you weren't loved? Why were you invented? Who put your heart in your body? Who makes your eyes see? Who makes you speak? Who makes you hear? What does it? What makes your heart beat? Are you consciously saying heartbeat, heartbeat, heartbeat? Are you constantly saying day, night, day, night, day, night? No, who does it? Is it true? So then you start to become aware, and then you awaken, and then you have a good laugh when things go wrong. Sometimes, of course, life is dramatic, and that's when you really have a good gratitude. Enjoy the drama. And that's the awareness that you develop all the time in your life, You can only do that when you really understand this is not your body. Like Master Shivananda says, how many times have I repeated it? I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, immortal self I am. I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, immortal self I am. Yesterday you were there, Bhavani, right? Some people thought we didn't have a class last night in our center there, and people thought they hadn't read her message right. They got her message, but they didn't see the day. So you see how people look at messages? You never told me. And thank God she copied me. I said, no, she did. She told you the 8th of May. I have the copy of her email in my... So, people are so fun. And she goes, oh yes, it's me. I made the mistake. You made the mistake. She actually read it, but she didn't read it. We do that a lot, right? We see things and we say, no, you're right. She did say it. I did read it, but how something... I said, well, it's meant you had to come. So Bhavani very kindly stayed, and now I said, might as well, since you've driven all the way from Marbella, 3 of them, and sit and join us and have a cup of tea with me. No problem. So anyway, they sat, and one person is totally new to yoga, but she said she'd been practicing Buddhism for many, many years. So we're talking about some problem. And then I said, you know what? You should do what Master Shivananda says. I'm not this body, I'm not this mind. And I looked at her face and it was a disbelief. And I said, you're not comfortable with that, right? And she goes, yeah, I'm not. I said, you believe you are the body, right? She said, yes. She said, and I don't know why you say I'm not the body. I don't understand it. I am my body. I said, yeah, you are your body here now. Yes, that also belongs to you. So I asked her, who are you before you went into your body? Who are you after you leave your body? Who are you while you live in your body? Oh, when I say that, I remember a story I read long ago, and it was about this master who was always worried about business and things going wrong. And one day his top manager was so worried about him. And he goes to him, he said, Master, why do you worry so much? And he goes, how dare you say that? You're my manager, I have to look after all this business. He says, oh, Master, do you believe in God? Yes, I do. So, who brought you in this world? Who looked after you? Who's brought you in this world? Well, I call him God. Who will take you when you leave this world? God. Are you sure of that? Yeah. So you're sure God brought you in this world, and you're sure God takes you after this world. Why don't you allow him to live in your world with you and trust him? you let him take over. And trust that everything's going to be okay. If you trust both ways, why not trust while you're living? I always say it's too late when you die, right? No more body to enjoy this nice world. No more body to enjoy beautiful children. You know, she has triplets. Can you believe it? She's very brave. And they're lovely. They're absolutely lovely. And they love yoga. And they're so well behaved sitting there. Huh? So little and so well behaved. You know. So we are coming to this world to make the most of the most beautiful things we have. Children, laughter, walking, being, and just being with each other, you know. Over and over I see what makes people happy is when they're allowed to love, when they're allowed to care. You know, last night I had to write an article, and you know, the article was on karma yoga, but I had to do it very quickly, and I said, I can only say the truth. The truth is, the only thing that takes you out of the depths of despair is when you stop asking what the world can do for you. And the only thing that really takes you out is when you bestow a good act on somebody else without expecting anything in return. Big one, huh? Without expecting anything in return. I guarantee you, if you do, you'll be disappointed. Do it for God. Do it. If you don't believe in God, do it for the highest energy, because there's some energy running us. Otherwise, the earth would collapse tomorrow. Who's holding it in place? You have to ask.
Who's making you breathe?
Yes. What's making us breathe? Who's making us breathe? Oh, right? So, I've forgotten, where was I?
Sorry. Karma yoga, the article about karma. To do good deed and not expect anything in return.
The article.
To the highest good. When you do it, and not expect anything, it is only at those moments, I can tell you that I have enjoyed peace. You know, when you do something really, you see somebody happy and you make them laugh and you make them go up with a nice feeling, you feel that bliss. Those are the times I really feel the happiest, more than any other time. Any other time. Yes, other things can make you happy. Yes, sometimes you get a material thing. Yes, it does give you happiness. Well, what the problem then comes is, if it gives you so much happiness, then you're worried. The next thing that happens is, what if I lose it? Right? It has something to it. I got it. What if I lose it? Fear comes in. So again, when fear comes in, you're trapped again. You're not really happy. You're really not at peace. Oh no, round and round the garden, non-stop, same disc playing again. But then you still say, I need. And then the fear comes when you get it. So, but with this karma yoga, this awareness, nothing in return, serve, love, give, as Master Shivananda says. As our Master said, the dedicated ever enjoy supreme peace. So live only to serve. Our motto. Live to love, love to serve. And then suddenly it all makes sense. So I remember when I first learned this, but you know, of course, in the early days, you're not very good at doing things. You talk about service, but then there's a lot of selfishness in the beginning. It's a training. Because we're taught all the time to be selfish in these last 2 generations. It really is that way. Go for the money, go for the best of you. Why do you want to share it? It's yours. You know, your children end up kind and want to, oh, my friend's in trouble, I'd like to give her my best dress. Don't give her your best dress, because I bought it for you. Instead of saying, I'm proud of you that you want to give your friend the best dress. What a lovely thing to do. And I hear parents, don't give her a good to you. You know, so we teach children fear. We teach them that we can't give what we love. And we take the joy from them when they give what they love. It gives you great joy. you know? And there's a tear that comes to the friend's eyes and the tear that comes to the child's eye. And we take that away from them by not teaching them to share. We take it away from them. What touches all of us when we go on television? You know, not the wars, my land, your land, that's battle. No, that makes us so sad because that is not who we are. We all know, we recognize it instantly. I don't want to watch the news. Why? Because that is not who we are. But when we see people sharing and loving, like when they had the huge tsunami in Japan, how all of them, I don't know if you saw that clip on TV, how all of them shared in the line of water because they had no water, and all the neighbors stood together helping each other. You know, people who had homes just brought other people home, you know, and we got a letter because we sent something there from SIS, which means all of you guys, because all your donations go everywhere in the world. So thank you. So anyway, you know, you read this letter from one of the Red Cross workers who's there, and she says to us, she said, I have never in my life witnessed such love, such acts of kindness. I think we have it somewhere, right? Lakshmi has it. I should dig that letter up. Such acts of kindness I have not known. I thought I came here to help them, but I have learned from them the true meaning of giving because they have nothing now. They have nothing, and they share everything. That one bowl of rice, they share it because they have nothing. It's easy to share when you have everything, isn't it? But it's very difficult to share when you have nothing. So again and again, you know, in life I have seen. So, you know, in the early days, I watched, so I started to study. Is this only with me? Is it really true? You know, I don't take the scriptures for granted, I have to test. And then I have seen in my life, over and over and over again, those people that serve without expectation, just love without expecting anything, are the happiest people I have met in my entire life. Every day it's, what can I do to make the world better? We met Ramaswamy in India. Such an important man. He owns a factory that does all the horns for the cars. He's very, very wealthy. Honest money is given away. He didn't tell us. We found out from his driver, from this one. His staff treats them like gold. Build all these properties next to it for his staff to live in. He invited us for dinner. So much food. What did they do right after we ate? Went and called all his staff to come. There's lots of food to come and eat. Wasn't it true? What a trip. We learned so much. Yes, he was very wealthy. I said, oh, he's a real yogi. He knows exactly what to do with his money. Then we met somebody else. You know, we met Dr. Ramani, Eye Care Hospital. He showed us how he and his wife started from one tiny house. And they started to take a little wage because they had to live, and the rest of the wage they used to help blind people. They decided to specialize because it was too many illnesses. They couldn't do everything. They couldn't help everyone. So they realized, let's specialize. So they focused. And from that little home, you see it there in their walls in that hospital, they have 16 hospitals all over India. They operate every day 200 poor people free of charge. But operations cost. Do you know how much they cost? $22 US. So, how do they get the money? 200 people per hospital per day. Look at that.
16 hospitals.
16. Now it's 16. They were opening the 16th when we went in another part of India. That's how bad it is. Billions of people, right? So, and then he was talking to us. He showed us the DVD, how they started and how they grew. I said, and we donated 200 eye operations at what, $22 each. It's nothing. He let us meet all of them, all these people. The hospital was divided into two, right? Same operating theater, you go from different sides. That's all for the poor, That's for those who can afford it. They pay what? Maybe 10 times more than them. So subsidy, so that we could make it really cheap. Whether they get donations or not, every day these eye operations continue. How do they do it? They don't wait for people to come to them. They have vans and staff that they send out to the remote villages where people don't have phones, and you've traveled with me to India. They just sleep on the mud in the remote villages. They go there. They check home to home to home. And, we saw when there was a blind woman who was so little, and she started hugging me and started hugging us, saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, I can see. Do you know? $22 is nothing to allow somebody to see. But one man and his wife, what a vision, sharing. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't bothered about the money. It just came. You see, when you do it for the sake of service, whatever you need will come. But we're always so worried about money, 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 So we stop the flow of it. It comes. Why? Because it's meant to serve. It will come. And if it's not meant to, then get up and work. You have legs, you have hands. Not everybody has legs and hands and eyes and nose and mouth. Get up and work. You can all work, you can all mop floors, you can all clean. Some people are really good at IT, another one is below me. Ugh. Who do you think you are? I'll tell you who this body is. Will turn into a corpse and either be cremated into dust or buried and eaten by the bugs. Choose your pick. Either way, it's the truth. It's the truth. So the awareness of this truth brings you into a new place of being in this world. It's not such a traumatic world anymore. Then comes balance. Whoa, this is the difficult bit. Because, okay, I want to give, I want to give, I want to give, I want to give everything. Oh, but as soon as you want to give, guess what? They will be those that will take advantage of it. There will be those who will be troublemakers. And that's when the balance has to come in. This is the awareness, and this is why we teach Sri Patanjali. He tells us when you're living in the world, you also have to know the way of the world. So you have one foot on this world and one foot in that world. When you need to be in that world, when we're around here, we know everybody's so full of love and kindness and wonderful. That when strange people walk in for the first time, they say they walk in and they feel the peace. You put it in, your vibrations stay. It stays, right? So when you have your foot in that world, you get solid in that world through practice, through meditation. But at the same time, you have to learn, and this is the balance, the psychology of human beings. When to play blackjack and when not to. And that is a skill. It is a skill to get balance. And that is very difficult to do. The knowledge you can get, the awareness you can get, but without the balance, you cannot be comfortable in the world. When people are too much in the other world, when people are too much in the world, they cannot understand. They go, oh, why is there so much suffering? And why can't people love each other? Get real. This is the world. This is our field. There are going to be people who love you and there's going to be people who hate you. Don't be so dramatic, because they also people get it, and then they have huge egos because they have this great knowledge, and they look down on you and say, I am the guru. Oh, you're the student. I have all this knowledge. I love everybody. Antithesis. Doesn't make any sense to me. That's not what it's about. And everybody has to be, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Yes, Hari Om. Real too, isn't it? It's not truthful. No, I love laughter. I love laughter. Also not true, right? So anything you do in life, you have to learn the psychology of it, and this is balance. You have to know certain people are very sensitive. They need to be strong. Certain people are too arrogant. They need to be more humble. Certain people will steal everything from you. You just open that little door. They'll take everything you have. And other people, when you open the door, they'll give you too much. Right? So, and you are the same as those other people. So then comes the balance. When to do what? And one thing that I have learned is that when you're really solid in the fact that really you are spirit and soul, then you will act in the world. Not because you think you should, how you should act, but you will act in the world in a different manner. What is best for that person? Do you see? That's when this person is very sensitive. You know, my daughter used to complain to me when she was here. She said, Mom, you know, Shema, anything he does wrong, you sit and you will talk to him. That's my son. For hours. Anything I do wrong, you just say, you just tell me like this. Because I don't need to waste time. You know, you learn. You learn right away. You learn. So I can tell you, if I said to him, do it like this, and Shema, do this, without please and whatever, his reaction will be to rebel, because he's got that nature to rebel. You could see it. You can see it in the way people act when they have this high personality, high energy. They have that. The moment you tell them you should do this, they'll do it the other way around. So if you don't tell people with high energy and high personality, do this. You tell them, you know, do you really think so? Well, you really want to try it. And they'll come back to you because of high intelligence and say, you know, I thought about what you said. Really? You try it anyway. Go, do it. Do it. You know, when you give them permission, they go back. But the other child is brought up with high, she came, I always said she was my granddaughter. She was the other way. Oh, this is bad, and this is bad, and people shouldn't be having drugs, and and this is all true. Drugs is bad, I know my friends are going crazy. Yeah, Shans, yeah, also true. Also 100% true. But you know what? You need to learn a little compassion. You're absolutely right. I'm so glad you can do it. You're strong, thrilled. I don't have to worry about you when you go out at night. And then what does she do? She does in university is pick up all those who get drunk and help them home. So they don't get in trouble the next day. Pour coffee in their face. All these stories that they tell me in morning school, you know. How to learn the compassion. Don't, you're bad because you take drugs, you know. And they take more and they retaliate and they retaliate and they retaliate. And we don't know. You see, everybody is different. So you study the psychology of the human being. You watch their nature, you watch what they are. And then slowly you work with each individual from their point of view. You know, as Lord Jesus said, you should wear, you know, do not, what is it? You should walk in another's shoes, right? Is that what he says? No. It says, you know, don't judge anyone till you've walked in their shoes. Yeah, that's what it was. And that's what you have to learn to do. And that's the balance. And then you know that this child or this person you treat like this, and we're no different. We're still children. Our fallacy is we think that because we become adults, we become more intelligent. We think we know more. We think we're beyond a lot of things. Fallacy. Untruth. Big letters. How many times in my one life have I seen in so many families, the children come and tell me about their parents, and I go, well, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but I think in this life, you are meant to be their teachers. The reason why you are miserable is because you're expecting your parents to be parents. They haven't got your knowledge. Sorry, they came from a different generation maybe. So I'm really sorry to tell you that the compassion you expect from your mother, the kindness you expect from your mother, you're not going to get it. I'm sorry. So what do you have to do? You have to give them compassion, and you have to give them kindness. Otherwise, it will be a lifetime of lashing. Your choice. Sorry. You're the grown-up in this case. But once they realize that, and some do, many do, they realize that in their minds, with one sentence, the role has been changed. So they look at their parent in a totally different light. Why? Because suddenly I came along and said, you have permission. This is right. You're not hurting anyone. You have permission. You have the knowledge. You're now an adult. You are smart. You do know what you are talking about. Now, how to portray this to your parents without making them feel small? That's balance. That's balance. And that is not so easy to do because it requires a lot of effort for you to be very steady and know where you're coming from. And for many people, it's been years of continuous shouting or scolding or bad language, and then to make that shift to be able to forgive does take time. It does take time. And your whole body, astral, physical, has been hurt by all those words that have been thrown your way and all the pain that has been caused. Of course it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. And this is why, again, in Sri Patanjali we say, use these practices, understand the knowledge, then use these practices when you're upset and when you can't deal with it. Think, oh my God, this is not only happening to me, this is the way of the world. Take a deep breath. And then practice meditation. Watch yourself. Watch how you are reacting to somebody else. Learn to look at yourself as if you're looking at a stranger. And when you hear these thoughts in your mind that's going, I want this, otherwise I'll never be happy. Lies. Tell your mind, you're lying. Everything goes one day. Everything goes one day. Everything goes one day, including you. The only thing you can leave behind is what you tell me. Love. Memories. Good memories. And when you do wonderful things, you have wonderful memories. How proud of my husband I feel when I hear my daughter says, Mom, when I was pregnant, Dad came every day, 7 o'clock, because he wouldn't let me pick up my daughter from school, from Gibraltar, through the queue, pick me up, take me to Estepona, leave me back home, come to work, 3 o'clock, cross the queue again, pick up her daughter, take her home, because she was pregnant, and there was nobody else to help her because they were just building up their own business. And he was working in his. Which father does that? I said, wow, nice memories. And that makes her feel whole. Every time it rained, when he retired, he'd call her right away. Even when he was in his work. It's pouring with rain, you've got the little one. He was so busy. I'm going. Then I go, Hans, would you like to come with me in the car? And if I wasn't with a patient or wasn't working, I said, yeah, we'll jump in the car. But I wouldn't get out because he wouldn't let me go in the rain. You know why? Because I was worried about my asthma. So he'd get soaked. And in the end, he died before me. Interesting, isn't it? When you look at the truth, right? He was always worried, don't go in the rain, you'll get sick. You know, don't go in the rain, you'll get wet. And look what happened. He did it. But these are the memories we leave behind that make the child feel home and loved and cared for and carried for the rest of her life. The rest of her life, or his life. My son's life is the same. They were drinking buddies, that's up to them. They were best friends, you know, chat. Every time I couldn't get through to my husband, I'd call my son. Shawan, help. He's the only person, you're the only person he will listen to. Admitting defeat also is part of balance. I can't do it. Something in my nature brings out the worst. Can you do it? Something in your nature brings the best. No ego. Just gotta do it. Can you do it for me? Because I can't. Help! You know? Recognizing these are the balances. I'm not perfect. I make huge mistakes. My kids can recognize it. They know me well. They know my husband well. Ask them for advice. Why, they're too young to ask? What a lot of nonsense. They'll be more neutral than me or him. Both of us will not be neutral because the relationship is so close, right? Bound to be like that. This is the way of the world. This is the world we live in. So when you know you can't get a clear perspective, sometimes ask your kids. We never like to. I've seen parents do this. What do your children think? Oh, I can't discuss it with them. I shouldn't put this in their head. I said, what do you think? They're stupid or blind that they can't see what's going on in the house? Don't you think that's more of an insult? I think that's an insult. So, like that, I'm just using everyday things for balance, but balance is also much more on a spiritual level. Balance and awareness work together. The Buddhists call it the practice of mindfulness. We call it contemplation, dharana. Dharana is concentration. Learning to concentrate on what's going on in here. All these ideas that we have fixed, all these things that we have, what is suffering and what is not suffering, all these preconceived things we watch going on in our minds. And when we watch that, and when awful things happen, like negative things come to your mind, you know how many people have told me, oh my God, I must be a really bad person. Why? Why? Because I had such a bad thought today. So I said, did you act upon that bad thought? No, but I thought that I had a bad thought all day. So I said, then you acted, that's why you're miserable. You acted on it by saying, I'm bad, I'm bad, I'm bad, I'm bad, I'm bad. That's grasping. A thought came, something negative. What you have to ask is, why does this keep recurring? Don't stop blaming yourself for having the bad thought. It must be there for a reason, right? It's not that you're always bad and you're always wrong. Sometimes you are right. Sometimes that thought comes to your head because you need to make some adjustments in your life. Maybe you're too soft. Maybe you're too airy-fairy, as I've been accused of many times in my life. You know, and that's fine. You know, but this is who I am. No, I love it. I think it's lovely to hear a little child snore. I have grandchildren that sleep with me, so I'm used to it. So, and my poor husband, I used to scold him for snoring. Now I have 2 grandchildren that snore. Gotta accept it. You know, you laugh at life. And then of course for the grandchildren, no problem. Right? But the husband who does the same, problem. What do you call that?
Imbalance.
Got it. And the poor husband is saying, all I need is to learn naturally lovely. I can't help being snoring. You tell the kids go, sorry, Granny, I snorted. Go, oh, absolutely. You do something about it. Do that and do that and another thing. I can't sleep. I'm going to the next room. And then are you arguing? Ah. Same world, different view. Yeah. And that's when you really start to realize, okay, this is just a thought. It comes to reason. What do I have to learn from that thought? And if there's nothing to learn, it's just a crazy negative thought, let it go. Just don't give it energy and don't act on it. Okay, what can I do? The mind is like a mirror, and how I got through that one is, I'm going to tell you. I looked at a mirror, right? Now, when you normally look at the mirror, what do you see? Yourself, right? So, we in Sri Patanjali, in the science of yoga, he compares, Gurudev, our master, compares the mind to a mirror. So I said, okay, that mirror is my mind. And then I really look at the mirror. And what do I see? I don't only see Nalanie. I see the toilet seat behind me. I see the towel on the rail. I see the reflection of the light bulb. I see everything else in that mirror. So sometimes, if I think about the light bulb that is broken, does that make me bad? It's broken. It's a fact. Correct. But most of the time, we see everything, just go to the mirror and see yourself. That's not the truth. So the mind is the same. Sometimes it just reflects something that is negative from the outside. It just does it because that's the job. It's a mirror. It sees good, it sees bad, it sees everything. And then we hear that thought and we focus on that. And then we make it real. We make it real because the moment we give it energy, it's real. It becomes real. And the moment you make it real, then everything works against you. Because as you think,
You become one.
so what you do is when that negative thought comes, another practice I used to do, and I think really practice this, is apply the opposite. We call it in Sri Patanjali as well, Pratipaksha Bhavana. You take a beautiful opposite thought immediately. So you know what you should do? Have a collection of beautiful memories. Have a collection of beautiful memories that really made you feel so good, or something funny, really funny and silly that made you laugh a lot. Keep them in your memory bank. So the moment the negative comes, you introduce that picture that made you laugh so much that you have to laugh. And what you've done is you've dissipated the negative, because this is stronger. So there's no war, there's no stress, there's no, oh, I'm a bad person, I had this thought, I must be evil, I must be like this, I must be like that, oh God, and all this, and they come to me and I go, pardon, I don't see any of this new. Are you sure we're talking about the same you? Are you sure? What I see is totally different. You know, totally different. And I go, I don't think you've seen yourself. You've seen something in here that got stuck. So you change it, and then the balance is, how do you use it in your life? How do you mix the two worlds when people you live with don't agree with you? Wow. That's where the act of compassion comes in. And of course, this is extremely good when you're feeling like, I don't know what to do with my life, is to repeat the serenity prayer. Lord, grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And just keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it and go, I cannot change this. I cannot change it, so I need to apply balance. I cannot change it. I want to change it. I cannot. Have you heard that? You cannot. This is the way it is. I cannot change it. Now the next step, go to the next one. Don't stay there. Accept. I cannot change it. Accept. Cannot change it. Next time, courage to change things. I can change the way I look at it. I can do that. That I can do. And I need courage to tell myself, don't feel so sorry for yourself. I need courage to tell myself, get out, stop the nonsense. I need courage to tell myself, yes, I'm allowed to be the fool. I'm allowed to be the idiot. And I'm allowed for people to laugh at me. It's absolutely okay. Because sometimes when that situation comes, you have to really take a totally different point of situation in your life that you would never. And it means bringing your ego down. Fine, I have the courage to do that. To recognize my weaknesses. Or my strengths for that matter. Because nowadays so many people are so low as self-esteem. They don't believe they have any strength. Both work, both ways. Some people are too arrogant that they believe, why should I change myself? The world should change for me. Oh, I feel sorry for those. You live in a hell, sorry. A lifetime of hell. If that's what you want, it's your choice. You see, that's your choice. Everything is our choice. Nobody can help us but us. And that's what my Guru taught me. And that was the truth. You have to do it for yourself. And then finally, the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom. I have to be wise. So what do I do to become wise? I learn who I really am. We go back straight to when I first started. Who am I really? Why do I take everything so personally? Why do I cast blame all the time? Why am I always interfering? Why do I feel the world owes me a favor? When who I am is really spirit and temporarily on this earth. What is more important for me to spend my time on? Do I really want to waste my time on this nonsense? Or would I like to spend as many moments in bliss as I can? The choice is mine. I can spend an entire life wanting, and be miserable, fear. Or I can spend my entire life living each moment, accepting everything as it comes. Now that takes practice. So you need wisdom, you need practice, you need knowledge. And this is why I love this path, integral yoga, that our master presented to us. Presented. He said, sometimes you're a bhakti yogi. What is the meaning of yoga? Living your highest self. We have a lower self, the higher self, the demon and the angel. Yoga is a constant recognition that the divine is in you, the light is in you. And as it's in you, it's in everyone else. Right? So integral yogas, sometimes you're in this energy field where you're full of love. And then you practice bhakti yoga. You do everything with love. At other times, you cannot. Your mind is all over the place. Now you practice japa. You start using your mantra to help you steady your mind. Train your mind to focus on one thing. And then you can't do the mind and you can't do the other thing. You can't feel love because you're so hurt. And you do hatha yoga. You use your body to calm your mind down. Use your body, then you do pranayama. Breathing. And you apply diet. Why diet? Because if you eat a lot of meat, it takes 8 hours to digest in your body, whereas vegetables take 2. So while the mind is working on the digestive system, it's very difficult to help yourself. So you make your body lighter, so you can do more. You apply techniques to make your mind clearer, less food, and then your body becomes lighter. So you apply hatha yoga, right? And then if you can't do that, and your mind is just too intelligent, then you practice jnana yoga, which is self-analysis and studying your psychology, the makeup of yourself, and you say, And you keep, the Jnana Yogi keeps asking this question, who am I? Who am I? What am I? What's my personality? And then Raja Yoga, which is the king of yogas, you apply the methods of all the different yogas and meditation. Everything is included in Raja Yoga. But you must practice it in order to achieve it. But unfortunately with spiritual people, there's a fallacy that we follow. We think that just by saying we're good, we become good. And just by saying we are praying, we pray. Unfortunately, most people don't. They'll pray, they'll say, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And they're thinking 10 other things. They're not praying. But that's what I realized I wasn't doing before I started yoga. I wasn't sincere. It was just all from the mouth. And then, I hate this one and I don't like this one. I wasn't practicing any of it. No wonder I was in hell. I created my hell by hating this thing and this thing. And I realized all those people that caused me to be angry took me to a place where I couldn't live with myself anymore. I didn't want to be angry for another day more. Why? Because I couldn't live with me. So there's nobody else to change from that point, but I'm fed up of who I am and the trouble I've caused. Enough is enough is enough is enough. And then you take responsibility for your life. And that's when you make the change. And that's integral yoga. And all the tools are given to you. The moment you want to change, purely, really want to make a good life, live well, love all, serve all, the moment you really put yourself to the side and put somebody else as if they are you, and their faces as if you're looking at yourself, and then after that you look at everyone as if they're God, then when you come from that place, the balance is achieved, the awareness is achieved, the peace is achieved, and then blessed are the pure, they shall see God. So that is the science of the mind and the science of the yoga. It's really a science. And you learn scientifically about your body, about how your mind works. You learn about your own emotions, where you're weak and where you're strong. You learn all these things with what is your soul, who are you? And when you learn the whole lot, peace comes. And you practice it in your life every day. And yes, as you would apply compassion and forgiveness to a child who makes mistakes, you apply the same compassion and forgiveness to yourself. Because if you can't forgive you, and if you can't admit to your mistakes and your insecurities, then you can't help anyone truly, because you will constantly be judging them from your point of view. You can't. And when you're judging, they feel it and they're going to react badly. They're going to react badly. But if you can be big enough to say, I'm sorry when you do something wrong. And big enough not to say sorry when you haven't done anything wrong. Takes the equal bigness, because when you are weak, people will make sure they blame you for all their problems. You know that. You are allowing them to manipulate you. And be big enough to say, hey, I am not wrong. I'm coming from a place of love. You have to be big to do that too. So both ways, it's always a balance. Always a balance. Every situation, we are loved so much. Every situation in this world given to us is to teach us to arise above it. To rise above it. Even the good things that happen in your life, you say, I never wanted to do it, I never wanted to do it, it's fear. all this comes in. You know what? Today is a beautiful day. Tomorrow may not be. But you know, I'm going to still look at it as beautiful. And when you do that, there's a lightness. Oh, we had such a good time on Saturday, didn't we? I had a wedding blessing in my house. This couple didn't want to marry, but they wanted the universe to bless them. So I kind of do this. This was the first one I had done over there. And you know what Saturday was? The rain. Everybody saw it? Pouring. So when they came in, they had this feeling, never mind, Nalanie, it's going to be a beautiful day. It's absolutely a beautiful day. You know, and everybody had accepted, oh, what about the reception? Because, you know, they wanted all the yogis to take part, so we had asked everybody to bring a dish so they could have a little reception in what was supposed to be my garden, but it was pouring with rain. So I said, enter the terrace, but don't worry. If it rains, you just come into the house. Your house, it doesn't matter. You know, I put the fire on, open the doors, just come in the house. But as it should happen, because everybody accepted without complaining, when they walk into the room, no rain. So she could look pretty in her dress, and you could look pretty nice. You wore a white, you know, and they could think, yes, you're great. And then, you know, the ceremony started, and then suddenly, you know, we were doing it. I was talking about a crystal. I have a crystal that has the sign of the yantra that they gave me in yoga mat. And I said, you know, like they should be like, live like this, or something about the crystal. At that moment, when I talk about the crystal, pouring, loud and really boisterous, and everybody goes, wow, you know, we should live like the crystal. They got the message. They just got the message. And then, when the ceremony finished, stopped raining. They could go out in the terrace, and the kids could play a little bit in the grass. And then they were supposed to leave at 6:30, but everybody was having such a good time. Nobody left. So the guards at 7:25 or something like that, but not raining. Cats and dogs. And they said, oh no, it's time for us to go home. You know, and we all just laughed. We just laughed, you know, when you don't worry, you know, and you don't fuss, and you know, and you don't make a big deal out of it. And they were kind of bringing our dirty feet into your house. It's no big deal, we'll just take them off. You know, that's why I don't have a carpet. Easy, you know. When you don't make a big deal, then they all cleaned up and everything was done. So easy. Everything becomes easy when you don't create the mess. It's almost like the universe works with you. How many times do we see it when we travel? How many times? I'll never forget once Anju, we're going to Madrid and Barcelona, and you know, she's a friend of hers in Madrid, gives her this silver bowl. She goes, silver bowl? Okay, fine. You know what we're going to do with a silver bowl. We go to Barcelona. It was us doing a ceremony initiation. And the center that I'd asked had nothing, no bowls. You know, we always like to give people something at the end. No bowls, no nothing. And Angie goes, I have the perfect silver bowl. And she just gives it. She says, this is energy. And of course, it was a very nice silver bowl. And you know, she just gave it to the person who owned the center. And then all of a sudden, they went to the street next outside. That one went to that one. And in 15 minutes, we created a beautiful altar, didn't we? All with love. You know, but the way it worked, you see, whatever you need is provided so long as there's no attachment to it. And she said, this is my bowl. I'm not going to. And she said right away, she recognized it immediately. I got this bowl. Why would I get a silver bowl? Now I know why. I got it as an instrument to leave it here. Do you see? And you see the flow. And this happens all the time. Shanti has seen it when people who travel with me. I've seen it just like all the time. It's just like, wow, the universe is generous. The universe is generous. It is our blockage that doesn't allow the generous, stops the flow. We stop the flow of generosity. So this is where we need to change the things we have.